Hey Greg, look at you, are you blackmailing me? Succession might just be the best show on television right now. It's a show that's produced by HBO. Like a lot of HBO shows, Succession has supreme big dick energy, with a vast and epic scope in its storytelling. These HBO shows you can always count on quality. High caliber A-list actors, extensive production value, blockbuster movie level sense of theatricality. If you haven't already, check Succession out. It doesn't take that long to get into, maybe like 5 episodes or so. At some point something will just click and you'll start binging it.
Thank you. Go, delusional. Fucking delusional man!
And figure out a fucking doctor or I'm calling mine.
Thank you so much for your concern, like you give a fuck.
It's essentially a very black comedy centered around a ludicrously wealthy family that are loosely based off of the Murdoch family. It's in part a satirical look at the amorality of competitive entrepreneurship, as well as a study of the imperialistic nature of these gargantuan corporate enterprises and the people who lead them. At its heart, however, and this is the real gravy of the show, Succession is a family drama, like Malcolm in the Middle.
Oh, fuck off, Siobhan.
Oh, you love showing your pee-pee to everyone, but someday, you're actually gonna have to fuck something.
Fuck you.
Rome.
Bitch.
The corporate power struggle narrative always plays slightly second fiddle to the collective character study of the family. Like a lot of other HBO shows like The Sopranos or Game of Thrones seasons 1 to 4, the characters in this show are deeply flawed, morally grey and complex human beings. Their mere selves makes for captivating television regardless of what's going on with the plot. The show is largely made up of conversations between each of the different characters, which is great because that is the very best part of the show. The dialogue in this show is astounding, not only in engaging ways but also comedic ways and emotionally captivating ways. Words play such a huge role in the overall theme of the show. A lot of the time you'll be hanging on every word as there'll be scenes of corporate politics or power moves being discussed at length, but never to the point where the jargon gets overwhelming or hard to follow. Other times there'll be more witty and punchy conversation for comedic effect in the slower parts of the show, and then at the more emotionally charged intervals of the show you'll have someone deliver an insidiously cutting line to another family member that hits that character and the audience right in the balls.
I spoiled you, and now you're fucked. And I'm sorry. I'm sorry you're a hothouse flower. That you're nothing. You're curdled cream. Maybe you should write a book or collect sports cars or something. But for the world, nah. I'm sorry. You're not made for it.
It is absolutely fucking brutal. The dialogue is just overall really well written and is a prominent aspect for which the show is praised for a lot by both the critics and the casual viewers. So much has been said about it already that I'd just be parroting what others have already expressed if I go on, but this show gets a big strong recommendation from big old Bacho. It's officially Kino. I don't love it yet. It isn't quite one of my favourite shows. It still hasn't risen to that level in my mind yet, but it is a girthy beast of a show nonetheless. However, this isn't a Succession review, this is a Succession Season 3 review, so I better just get on with it and stop fiddling around with my incy wincy willy over here. Succession has more of an episodic structure with fairly long time jumps in between episodes, so it's difficult to judge it as a whole season. With that being said, there are some brilliant individual episodes. The height of the season might have been the annual shareholders vote, which once again showcases how good the dialogue writing is in this show. Hilarious, purposefully chaotic, gripping, surprising, everything great about this show characterized in one awesome episode.
Okay.
The doctor's on his way.
Why the fuck didn't you mention this before, huh?
He didn't want anyone to know.
Okay, well, that's worked out well, hasn't it? Oh, fuck.
Oh, great. Hey, who invited you?
So
Thanks.
what the fuck is going on?
It's fine. We got on.
He's squashing the deal?
We
You
got
have to turn this around right now.
We got this under control,
Yeah.
okay?
We're figuring it out.
Thank you for your concerns.
Yes. What's happening?
His doctor's on
What
the
the
way.
fuck is
okay?
going on?
It's fine. It's all right.
What is
Could you
that?
leave, please? That is an imaginary cat. Now, could you please fuck off?
My favourite scene of the whole season, however, was rooted in the emotional undertones of the show. Roman and Shiv consoling Kendall in the final episode. There's so little intimacy and sensitivity in this family that when it finally does show itself, it's a small breath of fresh air from all of the toxic scheming and backstabbing. The locations and set pieces of this show are monumental but gorgeous. Mansions and castles, billionaire getaways, immense yachts. It's luxurious but not in a cynical, pandering way like when Adam Sandler goes to Hawaii. It's to accentuate the monarchical wealth of the family, and I tell you, that HBO production value reinforces the fuck out of that theme, because you truly believe that these are the residences of a billion-dollar family. In this latest season, it seemed like every episode we were getting an entirely new and unique, beautiful location. HBO are really just showing off their enormous Johnson, but at least they can come through on it. Sigma vibes. Now, seeing how this show is largely character driven, it makes sense to give my thoughts on each of the prominent characters. Kendall was initially the character who looked to be the protagonist of the show. He looked to be the most morally upright out of the whole family. He seemed business driven, not ego driven. As the show plays out, however, you start to realise that he's kind of a fuck up. I was rooting for him throughout all of seasons 1 and 2, and even the beginning of season 3, but now I've just lost so much respect for him.
Jesus, dude.
He's such a fucking wet wipe at times. He's insecure, petty, juvenile, dysfunctional.
I think
touch
we should
base?
talk
I
to
should go
Barry
up.
because there's a couple ways to counter backlash, and it might not be the best.
Backlash. This is being in the conversation.
In season 3, almost every word out of his mouth felt like it was desperately compensating for an utter lack of control and self-esteem.
This is fucking great. This is great.
The whole time he was putting on this vain performance that just made him look more and more pathetic. None of the statements he gave came from any authentic places.
Fuck the patriarchy!
He's an empty shell of a human, and I don't want him to rule Waystar Royco anymore. He's not worthy.
Sophie's room.
You remember this kid's name? Sophie.
In contrast to Kendall, Roman is, for the most part, his own man. He's largely an awful man, but still, he doesn't actively lie to himself like Kendall does. In a show about manipulating and deceiving one another, Roman is oddly enough the most honest character of the whole series. The first episode of season 1 makes you hate him, but now here in season 3, he might just be my favourite character.
I saw your little interview.
Oh, right, yeah, we don't have to dissect
I
that.
love my daddy. I never figured you for a faggot.
Oh, wow.
I'm kidding.
I know. Yeah.
It's a tragic irony that he, out of all the siblings, is the most loyal to the father, yet simultaneously is the one who receives the least amount of respect from his father. Roman, without a doubt, has the strongest yearn for love and approval from Logan, but receives the smallest morsels of it.
So what's this fishing thing? I don't remember.
Oh, yeah, that was Connor, actually. Connor took me on that. But, you know, single, multi-use, happy childhood memory, so, yeah.
His fairly abnormal relationship with Jerry is fully understandable. He's been starved of love, affection, respect and parental approval all his life. To Roman, Jerry is a maternal figure who is the only one who appears to not only respect and care for Roman, but seems to partially be rooting for his success in the company. But due to the drastic emotional neglect that Roman has suffered through, Jerry serves as a mentor, mother and lover all at the same time. All of the different realms of affection he never had, he desperately tries to elicit from Jerry.
I wasn't trying to fuck the deal. I was trying to land the deal. I was trying to help. I thought it would be a nice surprise.
Roman,
You're a moron.
Dad is killing me. He's cutting my fucking balls off. I can't do my buttons. I'm fucking made of soap.
Come here.
Shiv, it seems, is the most formidable applicant for the throne of the company. She isn't bogged down by deep-seated insecurities, she doesn't desperately strive for the respect of her father, she seems quite well adjusted, she's a partial outsider to corporate strategy. Perhaps her biggest strengths are her public relations skills, an aspect to running a company that Kendall miserably shat the bed in this latest season. Kendall spouts platitudinous statements that he doesn't really believe in, but Shiv has her own set of firm principles with regards to politics. The thing is, with regards to Shiv herself, I'm not sure whether I like her or not. My relationship with her character goes the way of Logan saying something abhorrent to her and me immediately siding with her.
Shiv, I'm trying to talk to Jerry about something important. Stop buzzing in my fucking ear!
But then later she says something equally abhorrent to Tom and I despise her. And in season 3 we reached a new low with how awfully she treats Tom.
That's why
Maybe.
you love me, even though I don't love you.
Just for anyone who hasn't seen the show, that's actually her husband. Tom is also someone who I didn't particularly like when I started the show. I found him to be weak and just in general annoying. Now, however, after all we've seen him and Greg go through, that duo of theirs, that friendship, is a needed addition to the catalogue of characters. They are the vulnerable underdogs who are a little more relatable as compared to the inner family. Watching them bond over their mutual ongoing anxiety regarding their disposable positions in the family/company injects a small dose of intimacy, introspection and heart into the story. Greg is more and more coming into his own as a cutthroat businessman himself, which is very satisfying to see, but then as that's happening, Tom isn't able to celebrate Greg's success as Greg is Tom's only real underling that he has to assert his dominance over. There is a lot of attempted gaslighting from Tom to Greg that always occurs as soon as Greg is given an opportunity to ascend in the ranks of the company. It's still quite a toxic relationship, but I do genuinely think there's some kind of friendship between them that scarcely gets any time to show itself. Logan is a terrible person who I detest, but much like Tywin Lannister, he knows what he's doing, most of the time. Even though Tywin Lannister is a terrible person, I still lean much more firmly towards liking and respecting him. I can't say the same for Logan. Tywin is a calm, collected, amoral tyrant, but Logan is a seething, vicious and miserable man. On a side note now, there are a lot of aspects to this show that scratch the same itch that Game of Thrones seasons 1 to 4 did. The ruthless plotting, the dysfunctional families, the brilliant acting, the morally grey characters. So Logan Roy knows how to build and maintain a corporate empire, how to exploit the masses and play off the populace's most primal emotions. The news coverage he peddles is unethical, but as the show points out multiple times, it works. We watch it, we contribute, we are partially to blame.
I fucking know things about the world or I wouldn't turn a buck.
Maybe.
Not necessarily nice things.
The show likes to make you constantly ponder which sibling would be the best successor, but time and time again do we see their inadequacies demonstrated through the mistakes they make. Logan, oddly enough, remains the most fit for the position of CEO of Waystar Royco even now at the end of season 3. If the siblings can learn to cooperate with each other, that might just be the key to thwarting Logan. Kendall has the business savvy, Shiv can read the social political zeitgeist, and Roman possesses that no bullshit, refreshingly honest approach that's 100% absent within all the other members of the family. They could all compensate for each other's flaws and misgivings if they just collaborated.
Go on! Fuck off! I have you beat! You morons!
Now with that aforementioned episodic structure to the show, however, comes an aspect that does partially frustrate me. That being the fact that there isn't much change of circumstance between episodes/seasons. The end of season 2 hinted at a big change with regards to Kendall going against Logan in full force, but by the end of season 3, that rebellious plotline is sort of cancelled out and reset. There seems to be this cyclical pattern of Kendall rising to the challenge only to sabotage himself with his own unstable mental state. When it happened at the end of season 1, it was amazing, unexpected and interesting, but I feel as if that same narrative beat has happened over and over again throughout the last 3 seasons. Certain plot beats to this show do feel quite repetitive, and I know a lot of it is supposed to highlight the cyclical nature of each character's flaws and shortcomings, but at the end of the day it still does feel tedious at times. Like Tom has been on the verge of leaving Shiv for 20 episodes now. It's hinted that he may do so in season 4, but we never know. At some point there does need to be some sense of payoff to these arcs. Again, it is better to view it as a family drama rather than a corporate thriller plot. Each episode, the same set of characters are thrown into a new ludicrous situation, and the juice of the show comes from watching how each of them react. In a sense, it's a sitcom with extremely high-end storytelling, like Fresh Prince of Bel-Air.